Okay guys, welcome. We're going to talk today about what happens to your children in puberty. How are we getting these zombies? How are we getting these deformed people? Why are we seeing these epidemics of health problems all in these same areas, utilizing the same lifestyle? What's actually happening to your teens? And let's talk first about what happens to pregnant women. Normally, a pregnant female is probably not going to suffer a lot of nutritional deficiencies. The reason being, all the chemicals that this pregnant lady is eating, every time this person poops into this soil, the plants are turning photosynthesis. They are turning sunlight into sugar, and then they're depositing that sugar into the soil. They're using a tiny bit to make fruit. They're using a tiny bit to do work, but the majority of the sugar that they're making is because they have evolved with us. And so they're putting the sugar in the soil for us. We're all going to benefit from this, but this is something that's selfless for the plant initially. It's manufacturing sugar that it doesn't need for other beings on this planet. How beautiful is that? You're going to put the feces in the soil. This guy's going to put sugar in the soil. When we have 10 billion microorganisms enter beautiful soil that the plants have thoughtfully installed sugar into, the microorganisms are going to procreate. They're going to make trillions and trillions and trillions more microorganisms with that sugar and beautiful warm dark place. That's exactly what they need. That's the entire recipe for them to go on vacation. They're doing a bunch of jobs in the body. We put them in this soil. It's vacation time. We don't have real work to do. We just get to eat this sugar and procreate. That's fun for every species on the planet. Now, we're going to see these guys, after they procreate, get to work. Now we're going to see the same jobs, beneficial jobs inside us, being performed inside of the soil, and we're going to see extreme soil health. In 1 cubic inch, 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch of soil, there are as many microorganisms as there are stars in the entire galaxy in healthy soil. You pick this soil up, it almost feels like you can see it moving around. If you drop food on the ground, the soil itself will reach up and encase this soil. The soil is alive. Anything you try to grow in this soil just explodes. Now, the trees are taking up water, but they're also taking up nutrients, everything they need: calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, nitrogen, as well as microorganisms. And it's not avoidable, but it's not by accident. These microorganisms do the exact same job, beneficial jobs inside of the tree, as they do inside of us, as they do inside of the soil. This is called the life cycle, and this is how this beautiful pregnant female gets her microorganisms and so gets everything that she needs for daily life and to make another human life. If this female were in her life cycle, she probably wouldn't experience extreme hunger pains. What's happening to an American is we've stopped this life cycle. Now the poop is going into a water treatment plant. We're killing all the microorganisms that make estrogen, testosterone, nitric oxide, human sex, uh, serotonin, human happiness, dopamine, human motivation, the cerebral fluid, the spinal fluid that your brain is sitting in. All of those chemicals are stopped being made. What we did was, when this person was young, they pooped 10 billion, then 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 10 billion, until they had almost no microorganisms. They're constantly, because they don't have the microorganisms to protect them and to make them healthy, they're constantly needing to take antibiotics, which are murdering 100% of the remaining microorganisms. And so an American female, when she creates a life inside of her, her body is going to violently rip things that she's busy using. One good example, kind of extreme example of this, there was a time in my life where I had to go 31 days without eating food. No juice, no calories, just water, nothing but water, for 31 days. I was fine, there's nothing wrong. It's very healthy for a person to occasionally not eat for a day or two. That's a beautiful thing. You got to be careful though, because the guys inside of you have an appetite too. We can upset them. However, I had to go 31 days without eating. At the end of it, everything's fine. I barely look any different. I was tired the 31st day for sure. That was the last day it was possible. However, about 2 months later, I'm delivering food, just a small box of food, in a blizzard for a charitable organization, my family's charitable organization, and I went to step over a pile of snow, step into it. I'm in the parking lot, the sidewalk's over there, the trucks had made a pile of ice and snow, and just in stepping on that, I didn't slip and fall down, just stepping on that, I snapped my leg. I broke my leg walking. It wasn't over straight terrain, but I also didn't slip and fall down, or there wasn't a second thing that happened. I was walking with probably 20 pounds worth of food, and I have great big bones. And so what I've done is, my body runs on many things but calcium, and my body had simply stolen the calcium, stolen density of my bones in my 20s in order to do important stuff. There was no calcium coming in. It needed calcium still, and so it just stole it out of my bones. And so my bones were just brittle, and I broke my bone basically walking with 20 pounds in my hand. That's how violent, but also unnoticeable. I wasn't going, my bones are being eaten. I had no clue whatsoever that anything violent was going on inside of my body while this was happening. This female is going to make another human being with none of the chemicals necessary to do that naturally occurring inside of her. So this is going to be something very violent. A pregnant gal, typically in America, is going to experience some kind of crazy and urgent appetites. I need pickles and chocolate. I need pickles and ice cream. Lots of lactic acid in those things. Lots of lactic acid necessary to make a human life. Lactic acid not available in sufficient levels. And so her brain is suddenly going to start seeing pictures of very specific foods right now. Now, I want you to imagine this body's devoid of all of these chemicals because we kill the guys that make them. This violent thing has happened to this female. After pregnancy, a lot of American females are going to suffer extreme postpartum depression because we had no serotonin going in. We had no dopamine going in. We had no endorphins going in, and then we violently ripped depleted supplies out because we've got to make this human. It's a small human, but if we've got none in the first place, almost none in the first place, this is going to be something violent, right, guys? Excuse me. Now let's just talk about your teenager going through puberty. Now there's a second system that's involved here. Every life on Earth has a system that's measuring how much of these energies are available, including the microorganisms. And we're going to decide what sex we need to express at puberty. If we've got enough energy to make more human beings here, then we're going to attract the opposite sex. That will be the administrative decision that we make. And so, a beautiful female is going to make full lips, a full butt, short height, little tiny hands, female eyes, female eyelashes, so on and so forth, female personality. If we don't have, for living this American lifestyle and we don't have any of these things available, where we're spending time in our school, in our university, in our house, in our job, if these things are not available on site, in your office, in your university classroom, if these things are not available and you're spending 8 hours a day there, you're sleeping there, your body is going to say, hey, there's no energy. So let's make the same sex, or make the opposite sex in order to attract the same sex, because that sex won't cause another human to be made. Or attract nothing. Once we decide we cannot make more humans at this school, at this house that has no human food plants, no human food animals, there's a decision to be made. However, let's skip past that. Regardless of what your child's body is deciding to make, a male or a female, we're born a female, now your body is deciding, hey, there's no energy for more people here, we're going to salt the earth. We got to make the same sex. We got to make the opposite sex to attract the same sex. I'm saying that all wrong, right? Regardless of which decisions to make, you know, if your body is saying, hey, let's make a female that looks like a male baseball player. You see the lesbian with the baseball cap on backwards, and that, you know, extremely male body type. Just thick, just great big shoulders, great big square waist. This person is just built like a male baseball player. They're going ahead and playing into it. They've got the baseball cap on backwards and stuff, but if they had on an extremely feminine outfit, you'd just be going, that looks like a baseball player. With the dress on it, it's the genetic expression isn't deniable. They're just playing into what they're expressing genetically. It's all very beautiful. Homosexual people, god damn, I was joking to get that word out of there, are extremely beautiful as well. When necessary, if we're raping these people, if we're forcing them into this, if they get no choice in the matter, because our country has decided how our lifestyle is going to be, made it illegal for us to offer these energies in our kids' schools, in our kids' university, in our kids' homes. It's illegal to grow a plant taller than 4 inches in your house. Your government did that to your kid. Your government made that choice. That's not cool. As far as an overpopulation, though, if we have 8 billion people and we need to get it down to less than 3 billion, because that's what this planet can support, homosexuality becomes the most elegant answer. Two females go over there, 2 guys go over there. We've just avoided a major problem. Thank you. But if this is done to that person without their consent, if nobody said, hey, I'm going to make you a female that looks like a baseball player, I'm going to make your sex confused, that becomes a little bit of a different thing, doesn't it? That's not consensual. This person didn't say, hey, that's fine, I'm cool with that reduction of the numbers by utilizing my body however you want to. That becomes a different thing. This person is now saying, hey, I need to get a surgery, I need to mutilate my body in order to express something that's inside of me. You put that person through a lunch, you probably should ask, right? But we'll skip past that for a minute and say, what's happening to this person anyway? Anyway, whatever their body is trying to express in pregnancy, we have this poor mother that we could just violently rip things out of when we go through puberty. There's nobody to steal it from, guys. We have separated this child from the life cycle. There's no microorganisms rocking inside of this person whatsoever. This person now has no immune system whatsoever, so we're just chucking Z-packs, just full on. We're going to kill every microorganisms inside of you on a regular basis, multiple times per year. We're not going to have any kind of plan to heavily submerge back into the human life cycle and refill this. If anything, if we address this on a metabolic level at all, we're simply going to say, hey, here's a probiotic, a $300 probiotic that has 9 microorganisms. You're missing 1,000. These aren't even 9 important ones. We're just going to fill you with microorganisms. Did you lose 10 billion microorganisms? This pill has 1 million, and so take 100 of these pills a day, and let's get billions of microorganisms. Not a billion of 1,000 different species, so this person is balanced again. We'll just get the numbers up in the 9 species that are inside of this pill. And that's not how that works. This is not microbiome fiber. We're not just trying to fill the space. Every one of these microorganisms carries out 1 or 2 very specific jobs. We're manufacturing estrogen in the tummy. We're manufacturing testosterone in the tummy. Your biology, that your government has brainwashed you into believing, is that your brain is manufacturing serotonin, and you need prescription meth because your brain is just messed up and it's not producing serotonin. That's false. Your brain is a consumer. Your brain is not a manufacturing plant. Your populated gut is where all of your serotonin, a lot of the new science is now saying 90% of the serotonin is being made in your tummy, but 10% is still being made in the brain. Dumbest thing I've ever heard in the world. We're finally moving towards a modern understanding, but we still have to jerk off everybody that came before us and say they were still somewhere. Crap. It's crap. We have to stop teaching this garbage. Your body is not a manufacturing plant. Your body is a consumer. the joint lubricant, the fluid in your cranium that must be changed out 100% every single day. The serotonin, the dopamine, the endorphins, your sex, your male testosterone, your female estrogen, and your shared nitric oxide, which is how your sexual organs actually operate. We don't have those things because they're not being made in the tummy, because we don't have the life cycle, and because we are now addicted. Without our protectors, we're addicted to taking a Z-Pack, taking a blanket antibiotic that kills everything in the gut twice a year, 3 times a year, 4 times a year. It's a normal thing. If you get a something else wrong with your body, we're going to chuck antibiotics in there when they're not even necessary to keep from having problems, and we're not going to address that this teenager is now incapable of making their sex and making their body parts. These things aren't free. We're using chemicals to make brand new body parts on a human being. There's no longer a mother to rob these chemicals from. And so you're seeing these teens ravaged by this process of attempting to build brand new body parts with no building elements. There's nothing there to build these out of. And then we get these sexless teens that are confused about their sexuality, ready to mangle their bodies, cutting their inner legs to see if they can feel anything, as our feelings are manufactured by these chemicals, people. This is so violent. These people are getting shingles and acne and everything in the world because they're trying to do things. They're increasing the size of the largest organ on the human body, the epidermis, at the same time as this epidermis is wiped clean of the 1,000 species of microorganisms that are maintaining this massive organ while we're going through this time. There's guys that are cleaning our skin. There's guys that are cleaning our pores. We're rubbing things on us every single day that say we kill 99.9% of microorganisms. But they're saying that's a good thing. And then your team has all of these problems, these commercials that are going on, making trillions of dollars, selling your kids solutions for problems that are being caused by all of your products having antibiotics inside of them, but then internally, your child is trying to double in size and make breasts and sexual parts and whole new systems that didn't exist in a few months' time with 0 building blocks. They're attempting to steal things that just aren't there. We are protecting our children, quotations mark, by murdering everything that protects our children. We had 1,000 species of microorganism that protected the child from pathogen. Now we're getting rid of all of those microorganisms that protect your child and putting them constantly on antibiotics to keep them from getting sick from the pathogen that they were already safe from. Keep them away from peanuts in case they are allergic to peanuts, which is causing them to be allergic to the peanuts. Early exposure, it turns out, is one of the largest. That's what they need to develop it's a neurotoxin that's on the peanuts. It evolved to say, hey, if you eat me, your brain's going to kind of run fast. You might even have some numbing or some swelling, and then you're not going to eat that. But if the child is exposed early, they develop a resistance. They develop a tolerance, would be a better word, for that neurotoxin. And so by protecting them, we're causing them to have life-threatening and extremely expensive problems for the rest of their lives. You're not protecting anyone. This is violent. Violent. What you're doing to your children is so violent. You've got a girl walking around with male lips, male height, male butt, male personality that feels like they're under attack every time a male is around, because making more humans is a threat to the environment. Or that's the signal we're giving. There's plenty of food in America for the number of humans that are in America. Quite frankly, this method of making food at another location, we're losing 30% in transportation. We're losing 30% on the consuming end. So going back in the store, during, bringing it home, and then just rotting away in your fridge. We're losing another 30% in the grocery store garbage and in your home garbage. So we're manufacturing 60% more than we need. But we're doing it at the farm instead of doing it where your child's body is measuring. Your child's measuring system is measuring inside of your fence, inside of the property at your university, inside of the property at your workplace, inside of the property at your grade school, is where your child's body is measuring and making evolutionary decisions. It's not measuring the farm. It has no means of knowing how many people are eating at the farm and how much energy, human energies, are at the farm. And so we're letting our child down on both systems. Even if they were still being triggered to make a female body, where would they get the energy to do that? Where would they get the building blocks to do that? When we're taking all of the microorganisms that we haven't killed with antibiotics, all of the microorganisms that we have not killed with antibiotics inside of the body, we're putting in the water treatment plant, which are killing 100% with antibiotics. And we're drinking the water that has the chlorine, the chloramine, the bromine, and everything inside of it. We're showering in water that has chloramine, and bromine, and then saying, why does my child have acne? Why does my child have shingles? Why does my child have 1,000 other skin problems? Psoriasis. Why does my child have all these skin problems when you've murdered every single day of its life 100% of the microorganisms that live on that child's skin, protecting it, maintaining it, repairing it? Of course, you're not going to have health if you kill the guys that are maintaining health. Nice people. This stuff is kind of, sometimes I feel like I shouldn't have to say it. For millions of years, we didn't have to say this. These things were kind of a little bit obvious. And we're going to return to that. The church figured out we had a first-person relationship to nature. And so when things went wrong, we didn't have another place to look. We would look at our house and say, hey, the neighbor's kids are doing just fine. The neighbor's health is doing just fine. What's going on over there? What's not going on over here? and we would increase the amount of energies. You get a sick kid, you stop paying attention to the garden. Then you're going to see a sicker family, and then you're going to look at the neighbors and go, "Oh shoot, we got to clean it up over here." It's hygiene, but we need hygiene that isn't dangerous to the things we're responsible for here. We're describing hygiene as rubbing bleach on your body, and that's not that's not that. That's hurting the guys that we've known about for a very long time. We've had microscopes that can see these guys doing these amazing jobs. We've known these things for as long as we've been doing these things to our kids. The church has come along and said, "Hey, there's a magic genie in the sky. Go to this building, talk to this guy." And so we had this first-person relationship. God was in our ancestors. God was in the trees. God was in the soil. We could feel our ancestors and nature and God. We could feel that was apparent, but it was here. So we still had our eyes on the things that were sustaining us. The church came in and said, "Hey, there's a magical genie in the sky, and so when you have these problems, don't look at your house, look up to the sky, go to this building, tell this guy about the problem, tell this guy to tell the other guy about the problem, and then you go home and wait. And if there's a continuing problem, you come back to the box. You come back to this building that has nothing but depth, zero species energies, bunch of concrete, bunch of the species, which is just going to cause farther panic in your body to reduce the number of the species." The mathematical equation is how much energy, how many of the species. So we go into the church, it's the same as the school or the university or the office workspace. We've got a bunch of the species, zero energies to support the species. So your body is saying 911, you need to do stuff that's bad for your health. You need to drink beer, you need to eat carbohydrates. Exercise sounds horrible, that sounds too hard, there's going to be injury. Everything your inner voice is telling you, it's 100% true, but only in this billionaire's paradise of you guys dying. You're consuming to death. And that's the state they're trying to keep you in. It's extremely profitable to have 341 million zombies that are just buying crap to shove in their hole until they die of shoving crap in their hole. And in constant need of medical attention from shoving crap in their hole. We have to reclaim this, amazing people. We have to put this back. Nobody's going to do this for us. It's profitable. It's just so effing profitable to have 341 million dead people murdering themselves, but also paying to keep themselves alive. You guys are paying on both ends. I'm going to buy $10,000 worth of carbohydrates this year, and then I'm going to buy $10,000 worth of health care to actually keep myself out of the grave. The people that are making money are not going to say, "Hey guys, for the good of mankind, let's just put these plants back here." That's not going to happen, guys. We have to take control of this ourselves. And the first step is just understanding what has happened to us. After that, we're probably going to have to just outside of the city. You can go way outside of the city and wouldn't hurt a thing, but you at least have to get just outside of it, far enough outside of the city that it's inexpensive. We've got soil health, we've got groundwater that's not contaminated, we've got the right, legal right. You get out into the city has definite borders. Inside of that city, a house is $800,000. Outside of that city, there's no traffic, there's lots of oxygen, there's plants growing everywhere. The land is $20,000 for an acre, even in the most expensive states. Once you get right outside of the city, all of a sudden you can buy huge pieces of land for $100,000 or something, where inside of that same city it might be $2 million with a tiny little piece of land with a house on top of it. Houses don't really cost anything. You can get a tiny house on Amazon for $20,000. You only need a place to sleep. It's this idea that we need 3,000 square feet for this poor kid that's going through all this stuff to be isolated 3,000 square feet away from mom and dad. The smaller the space, the better, guys. We're paying to heat and cool and maintain these spaces. Your space that you're spending time should be outside of the house with the plants and animals. If you want a big city interior space, get the biggest greenhouse possible, where you can control winter interior temperatures and still be growing year round, and can chill out with the plants year round, guys. Growing up, we had greenhouses, and on the coldest winter day, our house was always going to be cold inside because we were somewhat poor, but that greenhouse, you want to warm up, you go out to that greenhouse, it's blazing. You got to open it up and get that heat out of there, because your problem becomes the exact opposite. And so that's the large interior space we should be probably valuing versus something where you're just paying thousands of dollars to heat and cool some massive space so that you can be disconnected from this poor person whose body is just wrecking itself. Let me see how we're doing. All right, guys. We killed it today. We're good. All right, guys. Be a better steward. Be a better steward. This is an emergency. Okay, guys. You guys are super important to me. I'm going to do another of these real soon.